We're live.
I'm well aware. How you doing?
I'm frustrated, very frustrated.
With me?
Yes, I am. I
apologize.
It doesn't. Apologies don't matter when you do the same thing constant.
I wasn't trying to do the same thing constant.
But you do the same thing constant. So apologies don't matter. Actions matter.
We're so transparent. See that? We keep it all the way 1,000. We're so transparent.
Well, the thing is about honesty, and you asked me a question.
No,
so I had to give you an honest answer.
Okay. I see you got the lip wet on.
I wear it every.
You sparkling. Lip sparkling.
It's not going to make me feel better. I'm very.
I don't have a watch on.
That's not my issue.
I don't have a watch on.
You're playing your day better.
What's up?
Nothing. Let's get started.
It's a Loving Business on Lock podcast. What's up? No, I need you. What's up? After you leaned on me in front of everybody, what's up?
Well, hey.
Huh?
It is what it is.
Huh?
It is what it is. You know what we have today? Let's talk to him. No.
All right. I want to ask you how your day was.
Well, I mean, you know
how was your day?
You actually know how my day was.
Huh? You had a good day? A lot of laughs? We laughed today.
I had some laughs today.
Pretty good. It was a great day, right?
I had some laughs today.
Good day. I was your entertainment. Well, I was part of your entertainment.
You were part of my
I was part of your entertainment.
You were part of it.
But Franchise J. Claxton, Dr. Cassandra Vaughn, it's the Loving Business on Lock podcast. It's officially Friday. It's the weekend. So we figured we hop on and have a little fun. Right? And we got family on today. We brought them back. It was so good that we had to bring them back. That's been happening a lot lately too.
Man, have you paid attention to their social media and their Instagram?
Yeah, they popping.
We have to talk about everything they do.
Okay.
I mean everything. It's been a joy to watch.
We'll talk about your lips.
I want to talk about my fist.
You want to talk about your lips?
Talk about my fist in your mouth.
Lips popping. I don't know if I like this angle. This is a new angle.
You know how.
I don't know if I like this angle.
Do know.
Oh, well, and Sway, what up, y'all?
So you like that angle because it's just you, right?
No, man.
But you know.
What's happening?
What's going on? But you know how you can fix that, right?
How y'all feeling?
We good.
Yeah, I'm
glad
glad
to be back.
That looks so much better. I love y'all background.
But you know how you can fix that, right?
How?
Be on time.
So who knew I wasn't on time?
They knew.
But they not snitches.
Well, I mean, I'm not snitching. I'm telling the truth.
They not snitches.
There's a difference in snitching and telling the truth.
My daughter say snitches get stitches.
Well, I'm not your daughter, and I'm not getting it from you. I mean,
snitches get stitches. That's what my daughter said.
I just assumed that you was on a lemon pepper run. So
no, listen. Oh, I promise you, I was. The chest. I feel my chest. I had a good workout today. I'm telling you, I had a great workout today, and I promise you, I needed it so bad. I had a great workout. Come on, feel my chest real quick. Just, you know what I mean, for the audience, real quick. Come on, let me see it. Let me rub my chest on your face.
I promise you.
I'm gonna rub my chest on your face.
I promise you, it's about to be a fight.
Let me rub my chest on your face. All right, real quick, because we got a lot to talk about. But come here, let me.
Get away from me.
All right, come here, real quick.
No, I'm not.
Please.
No.
I'm sorry. I had to do that. Oh, well, Sway, what's going on? How y'all feeling?
We good.
We are good.
Glad to be back.
Are you guys available?
Right. Y'all looking amazing.
Well, thank you.
Oh, wow, appreciate it.
On this Friday.
Y'all looking amazing. Looking like cash
long week.
I
said, well, I appreciate that after such a long week.
Right. Okay. No, I overstand. We overstand. And I don't think sometimes people get it. Like we still gotta push on. Your guys are still helping folks regardless of what is going on in your personal life. You know.
Yep.
You still gotta put on and make sure everybody else is good. And that's a special makeup. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's a special makeup.
No doubt. No doubt.
Absolutely.
Got to show up when you don't feel like it.
Before we came
I was
on,
going to say, oh, wet lips seemed like she had something to say.
I did. Before we came, did you buy me a water?
This cheap water, that was
I
from the
don't care
gym.
what it is.
It was from
I
the
told
gym.
you I needed water.
No, so I forgot. I was complaining about this water.
Okay. Before we came on,
You started that though. I wouldn't even. You digress. I was focused.
I did because I saw it sitting there. Before we came on, we were having a discussion. Hello, you were right. There's a whole Asian hate law that's been passed.
I told you.
I have issues.
I told you.
Buddy, I have issues.
And we don't have.
What color are we?
Right. There's been nothing
Woo!
for us. You know, has been nothing for us, which is doesn't. I don't get it. Me and Cassandra were together earlier, and then I was like, "Hey, did you see Kamala talking about what was his name?"
I know. I had a brain fog.
He said, you know, the guy that said
America isn't
racist.
Mm-hmm.
Black man.
Let me look it up.
And like she was really trying to be politically correct, and I understand, but let's be truthful about it, because we got to be truthful to have hard conversations in order to get some growth. And she just, I don't know.
Tim Scott.
Tim
Scott.
So I'm not sure. I don't know what's going to happen with this administration. I am not sure. You know, I'm not sure. I don't know. I think this is the lesser of two evils, but you know, I don't know. The one thing you can say about the other guy with the orange hair, you already knew.
You knew what
you were getting, so you okay. You know what I mean? Like you're not okay, but you know what you're dealing with.
Ain't okay.
Yes, you think you're dealing with. You think you got something really. You know what's going on, and it's a little different. I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm not sure.
So let's talk.
Go ahead, wet lips.
Interesting times.
Let's talk about everything that you guys have had going on in the last 30 days. From your 5-day challenge, I believe it was a 5-day challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've done.
Yeah, you've done a lot, right?
You lived a whole life since then.
Look, to your whole road trip across the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Surprising family.
Yeah.
Yes, surprising family, your amazing photo shoot, to something that I really want to talk about because I think that we need it. And I actually saw it minutes before you guys logged on. The importance of dating and flirting with each other.
I'm just trying to fight with you.
That was flirting?
Feel my chest.
That was flirting? That's not flirting. That's not flirting. That's not flirting.
Feel my chest.
Feeling your chest is not flirting.
I'm trying to be funny.
Oh.
But this is normal. This is normal. This is me. This is me. I think people fail to realize that I'm actually a kind of funny guy. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know we all over the place today.
No, we are not. We aren't.
Right. Y'all got the floor. I'm gonna sit here.
So yeah, and so let's just talk. Let's talk about it. You guys have done a lot since we last talked.
Yeah. I mean, the flirting part.
I mean, that's ongoing. It looks differently in different situations too. So sometimes there's PDA involved. Other times it's us cracking jokes on each other. I think flirting definitely entails and includes laughter. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times we don't associate sort of the comedic aspect of our relationship with flirting, but that's very much a part of it. Mm-hmm. Just thinking of a scripture that says laughter does the heart good like a merry medicine. Yeah. And so laughter is integral to a relationship. And we do a lot of that. There's all kind of things in our day-to-day that we can exploit for our comedic entertainment. So
who's the funny one? It
depends on how you define funny.
Depend.
Who's the intentional funny one. Now, whether that is successful or not is another conversation.
Okay.
That would be me. That would
Okay.
be me. Who's the unintentional funny one? That would be this one right here.
I think you just laugh at me. I don't know if I'm really funny. I just think he laughs. You told me I'm your comedic relief.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
there I am.
Yeah, this
I
is
don't know.
she a lot of times likes to say that I act like an old man, but she has no idea how much of an old lady she acts like. So
You never said that to me.
Are you serious? I have said that to you. Yes, I have.
I did not know.
Sometimes you act like an old lady. I've told you that before.
Oh, that's funny.
You know what? I've said it to your mother.
I mean, you probably have, but you
I told your mother.
You said it to somebody, huh?
didn't tell me. I'm like, this is my first time hearing that one.
So what?
But she called me an old man all the time. So
I was going to ask you that. Like, what does she do to make you feel like she acts like a older, mature woman?
Thank you.
She gets up at
Wisdom.
gets up at 4 something in the morning.
Okay.
Y'all know old people get up early. Come on.
I get up at 4 every morning. That's why I was like, oh wait. I was like, oh wait.
Okay,
Take that foot out your mouth. Take the foot out your mouth.
Okay, old lady. He gets up at 4 in the morning. Okay.
And I start working at 4 in the morning.
I'm definitely sleep. But I need to get up at 4. I actually do. I know that.
The
I need to
crazy
get
part
up at
about
4.
it is that's why I get up at 4. I get up at 4, honestly. I have not always got up at 4. I started getting up at 4 because Jay was like, we need to get up early and start our day early so that we can get things going. Well, guess what? I'm the only one who does it.
Yeah, I haven't mastered it yet.
Yeah.
And I want to, because what I realized is the times that I've done it, I've had so much day left.
Yes.
I've had so much day left. I was able to work. I was able to go and train, work out, and come back in the house is 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Right.
You know, I personally, and I'm gonna get back to your question, but I've done it, and it's the number that I like. I like the 5:30 zone. I don't do the 5:30 zone. Not like at one point I was making an effort to do it, but I like the 5:30 zone. I am not interested. I'm gonna say it again. I am not interested at all. Anything around that 4 o'clock piece.
Okay, I got
that. To me, there's cones around that time, and you just don't go there. So
right. No, I got you.
Now I respect everybody who does, and that's all gravy. But I will not be joining you. I need at least another 90 minutes.
Okay. I mean,
fair enough.
No, it's one having no. It's you mean
No, I get a lot done.
No.
I think there's a free.
I speak. I'm high like a robot.
I'm not a robot.
Oh wait, we can hear.
Welcome back.
Oh, it says we're on the show.
Hey, everybody.
Oh.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Glad to be here. What an amazing time. Celebrity DJ Jay Claxton and Dr. Kasey Vaughn will be right back in just a moment. Meanwhile, we got Love on Lock. Excited to be here. Your stand-ins, OL and Sway Buckley.
All right, all right.
As we maneuver these boards, appreciate you all's bearing with us.
Not sure. It is.
That's interesting.
And we're back.
What? Did y'all go?
Hasn't happened in a long time.
Did y'all go away?
It hasn't happened in a long time, so it was.
So that was just Now, okay.
Can you all hear us?
Can you hear us now?
Now I can.
Yes.
Now
Okay.
we can.
Okay.
That's
Now we
strange.
can. Yeah. But it hasn't happened. Like this
That
hasn't happened.
That was the strangest thing.
Right.
Maybe it's the wind, because that wind is ridiculous.
Could
Hey,
be.
the
Could be.
wind.
I got blamed for it already.
Crazy.
Well,
I grew up in
I got
Chicago,
blamed for it
and this
already.
is definitely reminiscent of the Chi for real, because this is the kind of wind I grew up with. So for me to experience it here is very much different.
Right. I mean, well, that's easy work. If you work with, why am I so tongue tied recently?
Because you're late.
Are you finished? Chicago, a different kind of cold, a whole different kind of weather. It really is.
Yeah.
Chicago is a
definitely.
different type of situation.
Yeah, it really is.
We went there, and then I really want you guys to answer the question, but we went there for our birthdays 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago, to a basketball game. And when I stepped off that plane, I wanted to step right back on.
Wow, yeah.
About face.
First week in November, it wasn't even really winter yet.
It wasn't winter.
You know, it
I
wasn't
wanted to
really
step
winter.
on. So no, let's get back to the question.
Yeah.
It's a flirting question.
Yes, the
looking at
flirting question.
Well,
The importance.
Yeah, I think that it's important to have that type of, well, number one, like you said, laughter. Having that in there, I think it's important to have fun on this journey. I think it's important, like we cannot underestimate the power of just simply enjoying each other, enjoying life, and not taking ourselves too seriously. That's a big thing for sure, because there are so many things and situations around us that are very serious just in nature. So when we break from that to actually go on the opposite end of the spectrum and just have fun, be silly, and flirt with one another to keep that, remind each other of who we are to one another for sure. That we're not just in business together or working together, but we actually are attracted to one another. Like that's a big part of, flirting as well too.
In multiple ways.
Yeah. In multiple ways. And then keeping that as a pillar, in the relationship. So it's not just like here and there. And also I think it's important to realize that we may do it differently. Because sometimes I'll be like, wait, are you flirting with me? Wait, were you just flirting? Like, I don't know. What was that right there? And then he'll be like, I was actually, trying to flirt with you. I was like, oh, okay. So just like understanding our own little languages and making sure that we can reciprocate it and show appreciation for it as well too. Well, we've actually like had conversations about, okay, we need to make sure we're flirting more. Like we can't just get so routine into work and just being, together that we're not actually flirting and having fun with it. So we have to really be intentional and still do. Like, well, what do you like? Like, how do you like for me to flirt with you? What do you like? How do you feel appreciated? How do you feel loved? How do you feel treasured? How do you feel cherished? And really being intentional with, doing those things that makes each other feel that way.
Yeah, I think you said two things. One, and if I could sum it up in a concise statement, have to be proactive at it.
Yeah.
So it's a deliberate thing.
Yeah.
Two, you don't have to be enjoying what's going on in your situation to enjoy each other. In fact, enjoying each other helps with enduring situations or seasons that are not as enjoyable.
Right. Yeah. And it's funny because I want to use that as a segue. And I know Cassandra has more questions, but I wanted to find out, what do you guys do? Like, if you have some things that you're passionate about, that you really love, and then Sway, if you don't really love those things, how do you guys make that work? You understand what I'm saying? Like, or you guys are really have a lot of things in common. Like, I know me and Cassandra, we both like smoking cigars. We like drinking bourbon and whiskey. We like eating, a good steak, and we like good food, and we like to gamble. We like to laugh. We like sports. We'll handicap. It's crazy because we have a lot of the same traits, but I know sometimes that might not be the case. And how do you guys work through that part.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go into that? Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Like who's sacrificing what, for fun? You know what I'm saying? Like who's sacrificing the most?
Yeah, I don't know if we sacrifice like that, because there are things that we like to do together, but there are also I would say quite a number of things that we don't enjoy doing that the other person enjoys doing.
Right.
Or find that level of enjoyment in it.
Right.
So I think we have like started creating our own path and support each other in that. Like, for example, he's really starting, I guess, to get into golf. And so that's not really.
Well, I've always been into it, but re-emerging.
That's not really my thing, right? And so, but I know he really enjoys it. I'm not going to necessarily at this point in this season go to the golf, what do you call it?
Range.
Range.
Driving range.
I'm probably not going to do that right now. I mean, I don't mind doing it, but it's not going to be something that I do on a regular basis. But I'll even support him like I've done. I've surprised him with like golf lessons and, just, supported him in that way. So
birthday parties
at the golf place. So, he gets that in, but that's not necessarily my thing.
Yeah, I think we have our things as individuals, and then we have our things as a couple, and then and it's not necessarily a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I'm doing something golf and she's taking contemporary dance class or something, I'm not joining her in on that, even though she's told me a couple of times. She tried to get me in there. Come to Ailey with me, and so and I've actually gone to Alvin Ailey while she's taking classes, and I just sort of sat in the common areas. And so I'll be in the environment sometimes where she's doing what she's doing. But we have our things, I've got, nerd friends, and we talk about nerd stuff.
So nerdy.
And, stuff like that. But I'm into like pens, like fountain pens and stuff that's real odd. Like I like really nice, well-made pens. And so I got a whole little pen community that I'm into.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I'm into
You didn't know it was a thing, huh?
She didn't even know it was a thing, right? Yeah, it's like a bunch of Facebook groups. Anyway, so
it really is. It really is.
And see, I don't know.
Like to the point, I'm gonna let you guys talk, and I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know. I mean, I've seen, in stores, really nice pens. And of course, I would love to get a nice pen, but I lose something like that. And then I'm gonna be mad. I lose this pen, I'm gonna be mad. You know what I mean? Like, so no, I didn't know it was a Facebook community. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know.
This is a whole world. But and then we have our things. Like if we're sitting down and we're gonna watch, a movie, I actually can watch chick flicks with my wife. Chick flick movies as they were, but we'll watch action movies together too.
Right.
Sometimes I might watch something that she's like, I'm just not interested in that. Once again, usually something nerdy. But she'll sit there with me and she'll be like, I might not stay up. I'm probably gonna fall asleep.
Right. But I'm right here with you.
Right.
Did you see this, OL?
What's that?
I can't see.
It's out of the camera.
It's a case, yeah.
You gotta go the other way.
Go the other way. Yeah.
Can you lift it up some? Oh, that's nice.
I know it's a nice case.
Yeah,
wait till I open it. It's a Greta Garbo. She
already gone.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Presentation.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, I you know what I mean?
He's clueless.
I am clueless. I'm definitely clueless.
See how much I paid for that? Well, I didn't pay for it, but somebody.
Yeah. It was $425. So many damn, like the sticker. $425.
Yeah. That's nice. Keep that, sis.
I've had it for some years.
Yeah.
So Sway, what is it? What is your thing? Like, I just said, like he has his, pins, and he said he has some nerd stuff, whatever the case may be. What is your thing that he doesn't necessarily understand, but he doesn't have he supports you in it?
I would definitely say anything that I've done with dance. I'm not sure if I told y'all last time on here that my background is in dance.
Oh,
No, you didn't say that.
Yeah, so I went, like, my degree in college is dance.
And so you can dance like.
I've classically trained contemporary dance, and that's my background. But I minored in business and religion. But when we met, I was dancing then. I was in college.
Full steam ahead.
So every time, like when I was starting businesses, and I did I had a dance wear clothing lines. I did this whole fashion viewing with dancers, and I had all these different types of designs. And that's not in his world, but he was there as a cameraman, or he would produce my music for me.
Okay.
He would do those types of things. Or when I started doing those back in the day, VHS, and then turned DVDs, the training videos. He would be my camera guy.
I would output him to VHS and
edit
DVDs.
And that's how he started learning the terminology. Like, oh, that's a plie. Oh, that's an arabesque. Like,
that's a tendu.
Oh, that's a tendu. I'm like, what you know about that? And so, but he would edit the videos for me, since that was his background with his family. They have a television production company, so he was already in the family working, as a camera and editor, and so that just really came in handy for me. But that's not necessarily, or wasn't his world. I don't think it is either, but that's something that I'll still do on, I don't necessarily get into the studio nowadays as much. Maybe in a little bit, things kind of open up again. Maybe I'll do that again, but I'll be at home, and, I work out each morning. And on certain days I'll take ballet classes right in the living room. I'll just move the little rug out the way, and I'll have, there's a lady I follow with the New York City Ballet, and she does, these classes on Saturday. So I'll be over here, and he's like in his own world, and he was like, oh, you done with your dance class? Like, so now he don't really even come in, but he's like, you done? Are you ready to go get something to eat? So that's, I would say, anything around dance, that whether I've created, businesses from that, or actually dancing, choreographing, I've, done that many times for different opportunities or events. And he's not in that world, but he is, because I've been in it, and he's always, just supportive, like being there. And I mean, he's worn all types of hats for me as a stand-in dance partner, as a
because that was my next question. That was my next question. Like, can you dance? Oh, like, can you?
Oh, make no mistake.
He was like, listen, I used to want to be a choreographer.
Make no mistake.
Okay.
Now listen, make no mistake. I will Chi-Town step it out. Frankie Beverly, Maze. I mean,
okay.
Yeah. But I'm more of like, the family reunion type of guy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
He's that guy.
I'm not trying to
go background.
I ain't trying to go nowhere with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No more.
You said no more.
Right.
No, I mean, because we still have to support each other, even in things that we don't necessarily understand and we don't like. And Cassandra does a great job of kind of just supporting me in whatever the things that I do that I like. She supports. I love cigars. She supports that.
Mm-hmm.
I think all my stuff is just bad. Maybe I love sports betting. I really enjoy that because it's not like I went pro playing sports, so that's the next best thing for me. But she supports all of that, and she, she's gonna hear when I lose, and she's gonna hear when I win. It is a great thing when I win, and it's terrible when I lose.
Of course, yeah.
I definitely am. All right, what you got next?
I was just listening to you. I was actually just listening to you. Let me ask you guys a question. So we've been in the pandemic for about a year now, right? So would you say that you were stronger since the pandemic, or it's still about the same?
Man, that's
in our relationship.
That's a real good question.
You know what?
That's a real good question.
Yeah, it is a good question. I feel like we've been more intentional since the pandemic. I think we've been more intentional about our relationship, about seeing where each other is, and then even like trying like to grow together. Like before we got married, what we did, we were long distance, and so we would read these different books together to like just grow together so we wouldn't grow apart. And we stopped doing that, after a while. And so during the pandemic, we actually started that again. And that has been, even though it's been a struggle to finish that one book, it was taking a whole year. We were like on 2 more pages. We got 2 more pages.
It's a 30-day
It's a
joint.
30
That's
day.
like a 120-day joint now.
No, it's been longer than that. But just I think the intentionality of saying, okay, we need to make sure that we're doing something for us, not just individually, but like, what are we doing for us, for our relationship that's aiding us in growing closer and learning each other better and knowing how to live with one another in a way that is really enjoyable and authentic. I think we've been more intentional. So I would say we're more aware, which I think that always lends to healthier. It could if you do something about it.
Yeah, I would use the word maturing us in our marriage, just as people. And so since the pandemic, in light of everything that she just said, I think the end result has been maturity.
Okay.
So, and it's still going. I mean, it's always an ongoing thing, but
yeah, definitely.
The reason why I asked that is I was listening to an interview that Iyanla did a few days ago, and I guess because she's coming to the end of Fix My Life, she's been on a press junket, and in one of the interviews I listened to, someone said to her they noticed that their relationship did not get stronger. And so her response was, well, if your relationship didn't get stronger in the pandemic, then maybe it's not the relationship for you. And I was like, woo, that's a lot. That's a tough pill to swallow, But I can understand, that, because I guess my translation of what she said was, if you guys have been enclosed in a space together and you haven't figured out how to grow together, then maybe that's not, that was my interpretation of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is the reason why I asked that, because that's something I've been thinking about the last 2 days. And then something else that she said that kind of made me come to a pause was, she said that during the pandemic, statistically, there have been more separations and divorces.
Mm-hmm.
And that's tough.
Absolutely. And it's sad, it's definitely devastating. I think a lot of that speaks to what people were doing to medicate, what was broken. And then, when the medication runs out, that pain hits, and it is what it is. And I think, you come to a crossroads where you have to either do something about it or not. And if you don't, and doing something about it, when I say that, I mean like working on yourselves individually and then together. That takes work. Like working takes work. And not everybody's willing to do the work. Not everybody's willing to like look at what it is, even if it isn't what it was, because I don't think any relationship remains the same. Otherwise it's just dead. If you're not moving, you're dying. Right. So, I think just being able to realize like you're not the same people, and maybe all these years you've been medicating that and you've been pretending, but you hadn't confronted whatever the issues were, and now is the time to confront. And when you choose not to confront it, you go, there's nothing left there, right? There's nothing left to grow if you're not going to have those hard conversations. So I think it's sad, definitely sad, but it also speaks to like just issues of the heart that have gone unaddressed over however many years that it's been, you know. I think it's a sad state. Definitely. I remember like seeing something on one of the news stations about how the divorce rate, the separation rate had spiked, of course, during the pandemic. And I think we were talking about this too, like a lot of people, they're accustomed to being away from their spouse and all day, right? They're accustomed to going to their different worlds and having their own separate lives. And then, you know, coming back together for a few hours a day and then realizing when you can't leave the house for a certain amount of time, then this is what your reality is. And this is what you've been running from. Right. And so I think there's just so many layers, you know, layers to that, and just realization of what it is and what you desire or need to do to work on you individually, as you mentioned, maturing, and then maturing the relationship as well. But it requires work, you know, right. And a lot of times it gets real ugly before it gets pretty.
Right. We spoke on that. I mean, we really spoke on, if during a pandemic, if it, you know, it's really going to tell a heavy truth, because like you said, you're used to, a lot of times people do business or they work their jobs and they spend more time with the people they work with than their own family. You know, they're out 8+ hours a day with these people at work or the people they do business with. Yeah. And like you said, you come home, you eat some dinner, kind of relax, it's time to go to bed, you start it over again. But you were with your mate every day, 24 hours a day. And it showed, I mean, as far as relationships, as far as your thoughts and your dreams of what you wanted to do in business, maybe, you know, all of that would surface during the pandemic. We talked about the pandemic wasn't bad for us, which was a whole blessing in itself. It wasn't bad because we spent more time together. We were together. I mean, we got a chance to, you know, really. She cooks, I eat.
Hey,
you know, we watch old school 80s TV. You know, late 70s to early 2000 TV, and like a lot of we had a really great time, and we got focused on business. So the pandemic was actually a blessing for us, but I know everybody was not as fortunate, you know.
So I want to flip the question now. Okay, we've been in a pandemic a year, and everything has seemed to be opening. So what's the thought process of how it's affecting relationships now? Because for those who grew closer, now everything's opening. And so now it's like everybody's going back to normal.
Right.
Well, I think I would say, though, for those relationships who have actually enjoyed it, right? Who've actually enjoyed becoming closer, and like relearning each other. There's always like a relearning, a reintroduction of who we are as individuals, and then who we are as a couple, like just what that looks like. And I think there's some new rhythms that have been created during this, you know, forced lockdown or shut-in or whatever. I'm gonna call it shut-in like we're at church. But you know, I think there's been some new rhythms that have been created where, so now with things opening back up, even if people have to go back to out of the house or back to a schedule where they're not together again, I think there's a new appreciation for each other. I would think that there's a newfound like fondness, like, man, I gotta leave. Man, I gotta leave you. I don't want to leave, you know, that type of thing. Which is so much better than like, whoa, Lord, let me get out this house. Right. So I think it's just the posture of the heart, and like, how are you viewing your relationship? And are you excited about seeing that person again? Are you excited? And I'm just trying to hurry up and get home to get back to you. That's a different conversation. Right. Then like, oh, I'm just going to work late because I just want you to be asleep when I get in because I don't want to talk. Like that's.
I get it. Listen, I get it. And you had another element with the kids. Like, you don't spend that. Your kids go to school 6 to 8 hours a day. You
Yep.
work 8 hours a day.
Yep.
Now you are in the house with your kids 24/7. You
Yeah.
know, now you can really see who you send to school every day. You know?
You're right.
Now you can see who
Exactly.
you know who you really raise. You can really tell.
Yes.
You know, so that kid element is a different element during the pandemic as well. You know, about maybe finding some things for you guys to do, or to do together, figure it out, go for walks, go for runs, do something.
Do something. Go do
In
something.
the house with this kid worrying the living hell out of you every day. You don't get no break. You just used to the weekend and no tipping their ass back to school. Nah, you are virtual learning. They hear, mommy. It's you learn some things. I think for those that care about being better, trying to raise the bar. I think the pandemic worked well for, those families, those couples, that sort of thing. If you're kind of laying dormant, the pandemic was tough. Pandemic was tough for you.
Recently you guys posted a post that said that talks about why you two should keep building even when you want to give up. Can you talk about that a little?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I was going back to our podcast episode, the 200 episodes we were celebrating. Yeah.
Yeah, it's we're always confronted with it's interesting. We have long-term desires, and then we have these short-term desires. And the long-term desire is, okay, this is what we're working towards. This is what we said we ultimately want to accomplish. This would be a mile marker for us on our way to whatever.
Right.
And then along the way, there are these pressure points where it's like, you know what? I don't want to sound cliche, but how bad do I want it? Right. And your motive or your why factor really gets tested and questioned and challenged. And there's always these little micro desires to want to just bail, just like, I'm done, I'm out. And so you have to ask yourself, are these short-term desires, these momentary ones, worth the greater ones that I say that I'm pursuing and striving for? And this is when you're married entrepreneurs, it becomes very unique, because it's one thing to give up on your pursuit of XYZ, but when you have agreed that this is what we're going to accomplish, there's another level of accountability. There's another level of attachment. There's another level of gravity to that commitment. Not that you should ever compromise on your own per se, but my point is that when we're in this thing together, on one hand, it actually fuels you to push through those micro desires to want to quit. But when you maintain that macro perspective, and this is what we're aiming for, this is what we feel, like as we look at the course of our life, what we're called to do, then we're going to hold this commitment. And the great thing about it is that, two being better than one, as the Bible says, because when one falls down, the other can lift them up. And so you'll find yourself having that alternating will to go forward. And so when I'm not there and I'm having that micro desire to bounce, there's an overdrive, if you will, in her. And I think that ebbs and flows between the two of us, ultimately moving the unit forward.
Right. Right. That's a great way to actually look at that. Like I've never really heard it put like that. Never heard it put like that.
So something else that you guys talk about, and it really touches me a lot because I always talk about how much I pray for our relationship and things in our relationship. If we're upset with each other, I will close my eyes wherever I am and just pray. If we're at that, and everything that we do, let me tell you, it sometimes I think we get on people's nerves when we're at restaurants because you bring the bread out, we praying, you bring fries out, we praying, so you guys talk about 3 reasons why we pray. So let's talk about it.
The 3 reasons why we pray.
Yeah, I got to get reacquainted with it. Go ahead.
Because there are many.
Yeah.
It's right here.
So the 3 reasons you talk about is identity, conformity, and intimacy.
Yeah. So from an identity standpoint, as children of God, why would we not want to talk to our Father, right? Why would we not want to talk to our Heavenly Father? So that is a reminder of who we are, even independent of each other, right? So that's that part. It really starts with that. I'm going to use the word not awareness. I'm going to start with that. I'm going to use the word alertness. When we're alert to the fact, like, this is who we are, and this is the access that we have, then we can go to God in prayer. And that becomes very transformative, that forms us into that identity. And then also, which really segues to conformity. And the conformity really is like, okay, in prayer, the more we are aware of it, engage in it, and understand what it is that we're doing, it's actually shaping us. And it's conforming us from who we were and into who God would want us to be, ultimately, which is Christ likeness. But then that segues to intimacy. When I have had that time, and I'll let Sway speak for herself on this one too, but I'm pretty sure I can say this for the both of us. When we have that time in prayer, and it's 2-part, it's individual and it's collective. It actually enhances our intimacy in that there's a level of submission and surrender that happens. Because when you pray, it in effect is a type of submission, a type of surrender. And so when we do that to one another, there's this mutual aspect.
Levels of playing field.
Yeah, of surrender. And when it's really doing its job, when our marriage is really doing its job, we're becoming more by becoming less. This is where less becomes more. We're becoming less, quote unquote, who we are in a very selfish way. So we become less selfish. And the less selfish we become, the greater our relationship and our intimacy is. We become less dogmatic about what we think in the moment is right. And there's a level of yieldedness. And something we said earlier, I was going to make a mention of this, but it's like, if you're driving and you're getting ready to merge, one of the things they teach you in driver's ed is yielding. And a yielding means that, we have to cooperatively make this work. So the person who's already in the lane, they have to cooperate with the one who's coming into the lane, which means there's going to be a breaking of speed, which means I got to slow myself down if this is going to work. And so a lot of times through prayer, I'm learning and being reminded that I got to break my speed so that we can get on the same page and be in the same lane. And so that is what prayer definitely helps with overall.
Hey, listen, definitely food. Like definitely food. As we're listening to you, it's funny because we listen to you and learning, you know, so much, and that is the blessing of this podcast. Well, you got the floor. I apologize.
Oh no, I think
No.
what did I say earlier? About when you were talking, I chimed in, but that was gonna just I guess follow up on that. But it was really about, I think you're talking about intimacy and prayer. Oh, I said it levels the playing field. Yeah. So it's like, because you can't be upset and stay upset when you pray.
Yeah, because
my dad, he used to always say that in his sermons. You know, he would tell somebody, well, if somebody's upset with you, just pray. If you're upset with somebody, pray. And he explained it as, you can't pray for somebody and be mad at them too.
Yeah, you got to pick one. How our emotions are set up, you know?
Yep.
It's like,
Good. There's a guy I knew at a church, and in his office at this church, he had a sign on his desk. I keep saying I'm gonna get this sign. It says, "Before you sit down, have you prayed about it?" And basically,
it's a wood sign.
Yes,
my dad has that.
Yep.
Wow.
I need to get that. And what it says is basically,
don't come to me
before you complain. Make sure you've done first things first. And if you have, it's less likely that you will murmur and complain.
And just to take that further, my dad, if you come to him for counseling, like marital counseling or, you know, life coaching or anything, he will not start talking to you until he prays about why you're there.
Yep. That's good.
Because he said, you may not ward those spirits off, but I'm gonna ward them off you. You know, so that when I give the advice to you, it's not coming from here. It's coming from here. You know, and so that's basically how I was raised. So even like when in our early days, when Jay was like, "No, we're not mixing the two," I prayed on him.
Yeah, I fought it.
Go ahead.
I fought it. No, I just was kind of, agreeing that I fought this. I fought it a long time, you know, because I didn't want to mix the two. I thought I wanted to keep it separate, you know.
I don't remember what artist this was, but we heard about it. And I don't remember if it was like, I'm probably going to butcher this, if it was like Leonardo da Vinci or some artist that was a sculptor, and he made this amazing statue of King David. And they asked him, how did you do that? How did you know? And he said, I didn't. I just took away everything David wasn't. And so that's what God does, especially in marriage. It's like he'll just chisel you, and all that stuff that is not helpful, unfruitful, unproductive, usually very selfish, usually very prideful. That stuff starts chiseling away. And that's what I'm saying. Just over time and seasons of constantly being submitted, you become less selfish, less proud, less and you actually become more by like we always say, you know, don't lose yourself. And I understand what we mean by that. Don't be engulfed by your marriage or by the relationship to the extent that you don't have any identity. That's not what I'm talking about. But that doesn't mean that just because this is me and I'm raw, that everything about me does not need to change.
Right.
So there's some stuff about me I need to lose. I must lose if this is going to be a healthy situation. And so you know, sometimes I'll be like getting ready to, like, I have thoughts and I'll be getting ready to say something. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that.
No, right. Well, that's
So-
transparency, and I mean, it's something so simple, but it's really hard to come by. You know,
Yeah.
when we are transparent with ourselves, that's when the growth happens. You know, I mean, we have both grown in this relationship. You know, it had to, because it's two very strong-willed people, and in order for us to even sometimes have a conversation, somebody had to, you know, step back.
Yield. Pump
Right.
the brakes.
Right. Somebody had to, I mean, because when you were talking, when you were talking that merging into the lane, somebody had to pull back in order for both of us to get into the same lane and drive together. And you know, I think that we did that. I know that she would tell me, yo, sometimes you don't give me any credit for my growth, you know, and you know, then I had to step back and, you know, you're right. I apologize, because you have grown and I have, you know, seen the growth. I know that we don't talk over each other, even in a passionate moment. It's just as far as passionate about whatever we're talking about. You know, somebody has to, you know, step back and really, you know, allow somebody else to take the lead and get the things off their chest. And I really tried to, you know, she said I would listen to respond, you know. So I tried to stop that as well, because it's like, go ahead, hurry up and finish, because I got something I want to tell you.
Yeah, right.
And I had to really pull, you know, I had to pull back, and she has done a good job as well, really, you know, taking some things in, because sometimes it's hard for me to say something, because I'm like, I know she's ready to come back at me when I say this, but I feel like I need to tell the truth. I need to really be honest with her and tell her what I see or what I'm feeling. And usually we get off the phone, or we kind of go our separate ways, or, you know, give each other some space. And a lot happens in the car ride. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll take a car ride the next day. We'll go somewhere. We got to take care of something, and then these conversations kind of happen in the car. The bad thing about the car is you can't escape the damn car. You know,
Right.
like we in the car, I can't go nowhere. Like I can't go nowhere. So we got to take it, and vice versa. You know,
or you could do your own stunts and just open the door and roll out. And I'm just teasing.
Hey, look.
Don't be giving no ideas.
I'm teasing.
No, a lot of times when we're traveling 95 to 85, you know, however we do
Don't
it.
say it. Don't say it, Doc.
85 to 95. That's when it happens. And it's really, I'm telling you, it's a stretch on 85 that it just normally happens.
Hilarious.
It's usually going back to Baltimore, going back up north, and you know, it's about 3-4 hours and nobody says anything. You know, let me have a conversation with you. I'm like, damn it, here it come. You know what I'm saying? Like here it come right now. But we have grown, and again, it's keeping relationships like ours. Keeping relationships like ours. I mean, we learn so much, and it's some value in the relationship, and you guys help us a lot, and hopefully we're giving you some food, you know, as well. You know, and like we talk about that. Like we had a conversation with a great friend and family member of ours today. And
actually half of what I said came from stuff I read from them.
Right. I mean,
wow.
It really was.
Just, you know,
like, listen, you gotta know who you are first. Wait, buddy, I need you to know who you are first. So listen, we absolutely, and I mean, okay, so it is 8:59. Oh my God, we've been on for an hour, right?
Have we?
I know, isn't that crazy? So I hate to say this, but I have to say this. We absolutely, I was going to say we have to do this again, but instead we have a new platform that we're starting along with this called Let's Talk About It on IG Live, because we have to do more stuff on IG Live. And which Jay doesn't know because he was late. We have someone booked for next week, but I would love for you guys to also come on maybe the following week so that we can talk about life hacks for relationships.
That's good.
Oh, that's good.
That sounds
life hacks for relationships.
Because I really wanted to talk about it tonight,
that sounds slick.
but everything that we talked about, there was no way for me to
segue
in. Right.
There's no way.
But that sounds like life hacks. So what is the layman's term for that?
Secrets that you should know on how to handle your business.
Okay. Okay. I just want to know what the layman's term is.
Business.
You know,
That's hilarious.
So wait, as always, I'll text you and we'll figure that out. Actually, our first Let's Talk About It is gonna be with Play. Play actually had his people to hit us up.
Okay.
Nice. Okay.
Half an hour ago and was like, hey, I want to talk to both of them this time.
Right.
So, Play from Kid and Play.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's gonna be next Friday, I believe it is. But we'll put it out there. That I think it's next Friday. But yeah, he's like, I want to talk to both of them. Okay, you want to talk to both of us? You sure? You might want to only talk to him.
That's what's up. All right.
That's what's up.
So no, we greatly appreciate, you guys taking the time. I mean, it's Friday. I get it. I understand. You know what I'm saying? Like I overstand. But you give us so much food.
Oh my God, yeah.
And it's just y'all break things down in a way that I'm like, that really makes sense. Okay. Okay. And the blessing is too, a lot of the things we had already been through, but you guys just you guys say it in just a great way, and it sounds so like this sounds so good. You know what I'm saying? It sounds so beautiful. It does.
Well, we're grateful. And we want to say thank you for having us on again.
Yes, thank you. It's definitely always a good time.
Y'all look like $1 million. Y'all look like cash.
Well, A to the man.
Well, that feels good. Somebody called me last week. Somebody called me a silver fox.
Oh, at the photo shoot.
At the photo shoot.
My makeup artist, she was like, "Look at that silver fox."
She said,
"You a silver fox now? That's what the word is on the street."
I said, "Man, I ain't that old, but
Hey, look. See,
I know it's some snow on the roof and on the porch. But come on, man.
You want to go?
Nope.
What'd you say?
This conversation could go left.
Right.
Oh, yeah. All right.
We got some folks we know that is part of that crew, and that's their name.
That they're really part of the Silver Fox crew.
That's their crew. It's like it's a
real.
Yeah, no, it's a crew of them.
I ain't even know.
So let me tell you the crazy part. It's a crew of them, and the head one is actually from where you guys were at the photo shoot.
Oh, really?
I promise you. I'm gonna send you his. I'm gonna send you his Instagram.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, look.
That's why I was like, no, I don't want to do this.
Listen, talking about age, and it's funny because something just came out. So I was in the gym today, and got some guys we work out with, but it's a young kid that we have that works out with us, and I see he's coming down. He doesn't really have a father figure, so he looks forward to hanging with one of the guys that I work out with, because that's his opportunity to be around some males and some testosterone.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I went into the locker room today, because usually I run in the locker room, wash my hands, and I'm out. But I went in the locker room, changed my shirt and all of that, and they came up with a conversation about the little young guy had on a pair of Crocs. And I said that I'm so anti-Croc. I'm not a Croc guy. I don't see the fashion statement. Like, I've never had a pair of Crocs. I don't, that's not me. I don't get it. And my buddy I work out with said, "Yo, you was 40 when they came out, right?" And I automatically said, "I'm slick though. Like, I'm really a slick dude. Like you ain't really gonna catch me off. Like, I'm really a slick dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna never really see me repeat. Like, I just went." And he said himself, he was like, "Yo, you're right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're right. If the Crocs I thought was a great fashion statement, I would wear them. But they're nurses' shoes. I'm not a nurse. I have no desire to be a nurse. So I don't even know why the kids even wear them, because there's nothing slick about them. I had to tell them, "Yo, I'm slick, bro. What are you talking about?"
Right, you gotta remind
You guys are wearing new sneakers at the gym because of me.
You know, the only reason why they wear them, I believe, is because Justin Bieber has a line of Crocs or something like that.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Or something. I didn't know, but my 15-year-old son, him and his little girlfriend, they have matching Crocs.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Got it.
And now they put these things on them where
gibbets. They call gibbets.
Like, it's almost like pins or something, but
and they put them in the hole.
My daughter has it. My 9-year-old has it. Like, it's a big deal.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay.
There's nothing slick about them. They nurses shit.
I just thought like chefs and cooks wear them.
Nurses.
Okay.
And nurses, because they got like an anti-slip.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I said, "Yo, don't talk about 40, boy. I'm slick. What you talking about?" You know what I'm saying? Like, I got them. I'm telling you, I got them wearing sneakers now. Like, they really putting, when coming to gym, "Yo, you the one that got everybody wearing slick sneakers now." Yes.
You really have gone over 10 minutes on your whole soapbox.
I'm apply the pressure.
Crocs.
I'm apply the pressure. I'm telling you, boy, I'm slick.
I'm
sorry. All right, let me close, because I've been on my soapbox today
all
already.
day long. Oh my God!
Already.
Y'all just don't understand the day I endured.
Because sometimes you got to tell somebody about your, look. Sometimes you got to give somebody your stat sheet every once in a while. Every once in a while. Oh well.
I don't need it though.
No, every once in a while.
I hear you though, bro.
Somebody want to act like your stats. You know what I'm saying? Your championships and your banners in the rafters of the arena.
Right.
You didn't see it?
But I don't need them.
Let me remind you.
And I'm getting it because somebody else needed to get it. I'm like,
let me remind you.
Where does conversation come from, son?
And I went on a tangent.
He went on a tangent.
And we were in the car driving.
I'm like, this whole.
Oh, wow.
Driving fast and everything.
I was like, listen, you making me nervous.
Sometimes every once in a while, and y'all gonna think about, because that's gonna happen. Y'all gonna have to tell somebody your stat sheet. I watch, and you be like, "Jay told me that." You gotta give somebody your stat sheet.
Okay, but you give it to that person. You don't have to give it to me.
No, I know.
I was in agreement.
Sometimes you just gotta tell.
I hear you though.
You know what I mean? Like, don't do this. This what y'all do. Y'all change people's lives. Sometimes you gotta tell them. You know what we do. Y'all change people's lives. They change people's lives. Don't question them. I'm sorry.
I really have not questioned.
Okay. All right. Listen.
Sit quiet,
Oh, well, Sway, thank you so much. I'm sorry, because I am great to get on a tangent, and I apologize.
Can you please tell people where they can follow you?
Yes, please. Shameless plug, everything you got going on, how they can follow you. This is your time right now.
Yeah, all things MarriedPreneur Life, MarriedPreneur Life on IG, MarriedPreneurLife.com, the website, MarriedPreneur Life, the podcast.
And we have another challenge coming up soon. That's in a few weeks. So
yes,
they can get the details over there at MarriedPreneurLife.com. It's 11 launch challenge as well. And there's lots of resources. And we have the MarriedPreneur Life podcast. All details at MarriedPreneurLife.com.
Say it with your chest. Tell them.
And people can also book you guys to coach them as well, correct? Over there.
Yes, absolutely. At MarriedPreneurLife.com, they can set up and get a strategy session, and we can see where they are and help them from there. Help them set them up in a program so we can walk them through the next steps. That's correct.
Jay needs a program.
What?
She over there like.
No, I need to give somebody a program.
No.
I know. I'm telling you.
No. Close out.
Hold on. Before y'all go, I'm sorry. Now you got me started. I don't have food. I got food. I got meals to give folks.
Meals.
I do.
You do. You have meals.
Appetizer,
You have
full course,
yeah, you do.
dessert.
Sampler.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Right.
No. Don't do this.
Spring water. Spring water in a cocktail. You know what I mean?
Well, you're sitting here agreeing like, yeah, here go
with the rolls that come out before your appetizer, I got that. I'm sorry. All right. So Loving Business on Lock podcast. Oh, Sway, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed your time with us.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for the food. We really appreciate you guys always. Like you always have something really great to say, and we learn so much. So thank you. It's value in this. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Keep all negative folks out your circle. You pick up the the ways of the 5 closest people to you. So really make sure your circle is tight and intentional.
Absolutely. Next week, Love Business on Lock. Wednesday, Cinco de Mayo.
That's right.
We get to celebrate my people. Well, one half of my people.
I was going to say.
One half of my people.
Because I'm saying you want us.
Well, I am. I am.
She is one of us.
I really am. But one half of my people.
You got any of us. You us.
We have 2 amazing Love Business on Locks next week on Wednesday and Friday, along with, of course, on Friday, I believe it's Friday, 7:00. We speak with Kid from Kid and Play. He's been in tons of movies. Every time I know that's not what I want to say. Okay. Every time I turn on Netflix or the All Black channel or BET Plus, he's in yet another movie. So we get a chance opportunity to speak with him, and he wants to speak to both of us.
Okay.
That's interesting.
No, he want to tell you got some work to do.
Listen, I don't know, because that was my high school crush. I thought I was playing.
If he got to take all of it. If you gonna go all of it,
you gotta go take.
No, I take all of it. Anything that come with you, good, bad, and indifferent. All right, look, we good. We go.
Have a good night, guys.
We had a great time. Thank you so much. Loving Business on Lock podcast. Oh, Sway. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend. Please be safe.
Thank you.
All right.